guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to get a quick and easy mastering chain. And to not waste any time at all, I'll just go right into the DAW. And this is my project without any mastering at all. And it's going to sound pretty bad. Alright, first thing I usually put on, I've been told not to use this because it has low-end phase issues, but personally myself, I have not had any of those issues, at least not that I know of. So OTT is just a multi-band up-down compressor, as you can see, but it's mostly almost like an exciter in a way. The way I dial this in is I'll go ahead and just raise, it's going to start at 100 and I'll just lower it all the way down to 0 and raise it up until about where I feel like it's about right. And if there's too much high end in the signal, I'll just adjust it with this knob here, or low end, same thing. But generally, I just kind of mix into this chain, so I fix that before it hits this in a way. Yeah, this is entirely optional. I'll show you a quick before and after once I have everything else added, and you'll see the difference. But next, I have the Pro Q. And this is kind of nuts looking, I know, but there was a lot of harshness in my guitars and cymbals and bass and everything. So this isn't necessary pretty much ever, as long as you fix it before it hits the mastering chain, which I mix into it so I don't. Anyway, aside from that, I always have just a quick boost to the high end around 9,000-ish hertz range, and that's mostly because I tend to mix very dark. Some muddiness cut out and some added low end, but these EQ moves, pretty much any EQ move that you're going to make on your master is going to be specific for that song or whatever project that you're working in. Don't try to copy this, it's not going to work on your stuff. Just try to add anything you feel is missing or anything that's a little too built up, like for example my 114 hertz, it was very muddy, so I just cut it in the master and it made everything just fine. Right, so I'll just go ahead and turn that off and just do a quick before and after. And with it on, all right, next I have Frequency Sniper, Freak Sniper, whatever you want to call it. You do need the Nail the Mix membership to use this. However, you can get the same result with Soothe. I just find that this plugin has a lot less latency and it's a bit more brainless in the sense that you just click the learn button, add features, set whether you want it to be dynamic or static. So yeah, I've been using this mostly, but Soothe, you can get the same result. Just getting rid of those weird frequencies like the whistlies. You can actually hear, if I turn on the delta, that's what it's getting rid of. It's not entirely necessary. I just throw it on as a precautionary measure, but this is just a quick before and after. And with it on, and next, I always use some sort of saturation. I've been using JST Heat a lot just because it's, in a way, it's like Saturn, but I just find that it's a lot easier to use this in a way that you just use the one knob. I never really touch any of the presets, just basically pull down the output a little bit and raise the heat knob up. So to dial this in, I'll go way too far, like at 100. And then I'll back it off until I feel it's a little bit lacking, and then I'll just push it up into the sweet spot and it'll make it good every time. So I'll just do a quick before and after for that as well. And with it on. Off one more time. And on. You can kind of feel that it's giving it the extra edge, pushing it a little bit more in your face kind of thing. So yeah, saturation is a very good, very important, in my opinion, step for mastering. Aside from that, just to get rid of the clipping I have here and just kind of level everything out. Make everything translate a lot better, whether you're listening on your phone, car, AirPods, headphones, speakers, whatever you have. My general rule is around 36 milliseconds of attack, 60 milliseconds release. I left it on 16.16 milliseconds look ahead. I haven't messed too much with channel linking or any of that stuff. For ceiling, I bring it down just a bit so it's not clipping. And knee, that's really just a taste, really, how hard you want the transients to hit, how soft you want them to be. And threshold, I will kind of just adjust until it's around the left readings that I reference. So typically I have around -6 to -5. So I'll just do a quick before and after of that. And on. So yeah, it gives it a lot of volume without clipping, and that is important for translation purposes. And I always make sure that's the last in my chain, because if I add anything else after that, then it's gonna for sure clip. But that also leads us over to OTT, just to show what that does. And like I said, just quick 8%. That's going to vary depending on your mix or what you like to hear in your mixes. But I'll go ahead with the before and after now. And on. Off one more time. And on. So yeah, it's a bit more subtle once you have everything else alongside it. However, just to give one more example, with it off and on, and on, since I have it on such a low percentage, it is kind of hard to hear. But it is giving the low end push that I really wanted out of my mix for this EP/session I have going. I did have a question brought up to me in my Discord server, link in the description below, by the way. Join it. Basically asking how to get the snare to sit in the mix a bit better. So for that, I use FG Gray, and I have just a preset that I made that I stole from Nolly, which I'm sure he stole it from someone. I know it. I know it. I know what you do in your sleep. Basically, you can copy this. It's a pretty versatile, just kind of set and forget kind of thing. So I'll play it and I'll kind of just move the threshold to only where this needle is going to be moving when the snare hits. So I'll do that now. So my mix is so loud that it's just going to end up moving regardless. But when I turn it off and versus on, you're going to hear that the snare is a bit more tame. So I'll go ahead and go through it before and after. And on. It also really helps to do that on your drum bus, just because when you have a loud mix, it's not going to matter really that much anymore. So experiment doing it on your mix bus versus your drum bus, because you might have different results based on that alone. But yeah, that was this week. So yeah, that was this week's video. If you have any suggestions or anything you want to see, go ahead and let me know in the comments or reach out to me somehow, and I'll do it. As I did mention before, I do have a Discord server now. It's in the description if you want to join that. If you want to listen to my music, you can scan these. If you want me to mix any of your stuff, or if you want me to go through any of your tracks on the channel, you can go ahead and reach out to me either through my website, link in the description, or go ahead and just reach out to me on Instagram if it's easier. That's enough for me today though. I will see you guys next time.